So yo guys, we're live. I guess we're live, and I guess this time we actually have proper sound. At least I hope so. Let me just see. Oh yeah. So why can't I see the comments? There's always something wrong when I'm streaming. Always something wrong. Let me just lay an eye on this. Also, yeah, finally I can see the comments. Yo guys. It's Neo Aliens coming to watch the disappointment AMD prepares today. Always rip AMD. Hello from USA. By the way, guys, how about the sound? Is the sound okay? Just let me know. Audio is very quiet, you say. Just a bit louder. I guess I can do that. How about now? Is it better? Because I'm using the Scarlett interface, so it's quite normal. I can actually push some gain here if needed. Just let me know about the sound, if it is better or not. Just a bit louder, I guess I can do that. Still very quiet. Okay, let me just see what I can do here. How about now? Is it better? Okie dokie. Because I'm using the Scarlett interface, so tell me now about the sound. It's quite normal. If it is sounding... I can actually now we have no sound, I guess. Push some gain here if needed. Yeah, I guess we have no sound. Just let me know about the sound, if it is better or not. There's always issues with my sound system. Just a bit louder. There's not a time that we don't have those issues. Okay, let me just see what I can do here. How about now? Is it better? Okie dokie. Okay. I'm using the Scarlett interface, so tell me now about the sound. It's quite okay. It's now we have no sound. Loud. Are you hearing actually? Yeah, I guess we have no sound. Just let me know about the sound, if it is better or not. It's almost there. So you're hearing sound because the system isn't actually showing me that the microphone is catching. Time that we don't have those issues. Okay, it's better. I guess. Well, the Scarlett interface shows me, but okay, let me just. Okay, let me just open it a bit more. Okay, it's now we have no sound. Loud. Are you hearing actually? I believe the event is starting. Let me know about the sound, if it is better or not. It's almost there. So you're hearing sound because the system isn't actually showing me that the microphone is catching. Oh, it sounds because I'm dumb enough to have audio on a video that I'm actually reproducing on the other screen. That's the issue. I'm sorry about that. But now it's fixed. I guess it is. Okay. There's no echo anymore. Yeah, okay, now it's fixed because I had the video on the background. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me see if I actually have audio here. I guess I have no battery here. I need a cable to connect this. Just give me a second. Damn, I have so many cables that I never know where they are. A chave. Peraí, tenho aqui um micro USB. Okay, I guess I'm doing it now. That's what happens when you actually change computers. This is not my main computer, as you may have already noticed, and that's one of the issues. I am trying to actually stream only on this new setup. Okay. I guess I can get sound now. Let's see. Yeah, now I can get sound. By the way, let me know if the sound of the music is too high or not. I can simply adjust it. And if the sound of the microphone is also okay. I'll just put it down a bit. Yeah, in Germany, so out of respect for the native language, they are offering German subs. Lol. Infinite frame. Okay, I already adjusted it. Because the comments and the video you're seeing has like, let's say 10 seconds delay, something like that. Because I'm streaming at 4K. That's the reason. Still too loud. How is this too loud? Well, let me just... My goodness. Okay. How about now? Okay, I can simply turn it off, I guess. Yeah, why not? I don't really know why the music is so loud. That doesn't really make much sense, but I guess it is what it is. Let me just see if I can adjust the microphone, because I'm looking mostly at this monitor right now. The microphone, no, the camera. I can just do this, I guess. Yeah, it's better to a certain extent. Anyway. Good. Yeah, no audio. Oh, they're coming in with GPUs. Don't tell me that they're launching GPUs. Oh no, they will launch GPUs to the public. That's a nice thing. Well, firstly we have the shirts. Yes, HyperRX will be released as well. Now I can tell you that that was one of the features that I had access to on the drivers that I got previously. Was that and Radeon Anti-Lag Plus. Okay, it's an increase over the normal Anti-Lag Plus. Radeon Boost was also better, and so on. I still hear you a bit low. What? No sound? What? My voice has no sound? That's impossible. Yeah, I have no sound on the video, but if you guys say the voice is too low, I can get a bit more gain, I guess. Let me just see. On the microphone, maybe this. Okay. Desktop, I'll just decrease it a bit. Where the presentation going? What channels? It's basically on AMD Gaming Festival, the AMD Twitch. Is this guy talking right now?
Wir sind super dankbar und ich bin sehr dankbar, jetzt gleich einen Kollegen hier die Bühne zu geben. Das ist Liffy. Liffy ist super nett, super korrekt, ein richtig feiner Kerl und ich habe den gerade hinten gehört und er hat gesagt, boah, die Crowd ist aber laut. Mir wäre es schön, wenn das sagt, boah, die Crowd ist aber laut, also mach mal ein bisschen Lärm!
Yeah, but I know you guys want to hear the video, but the video is in German.
AMD! 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 Wunderschön! Leute, der Teil wird größtenteils auf Englisch sein. Deswegen, wir haben jetzt den epischen Counter, der gibt 60 und dann rastet ihr richtig aus. Wir üben es noch einmal, rastet aus, Leute! Ja! Ja!
Why is this guy so... I mean, oh my god, he's so hyped out. and launching GPUs and saying AMD. That's basically how we say in Portuguese. We don't say AMD, we say AMD. Exactly, he's so hyped. I was actually laughing a lot. Oh, I can't stop laughing, but I have to. Otherwise, you can't actually hear them talking. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see what we bring here. As this just started, yes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Do we need higher sound? Once again, tell me if my voice...
What's up, Gamescom?
Even higher, my voice. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, Johnny wasn't joking when he said you guys were loud as hell. Thanks for the warm welcome. So,
my voice is
we got about 30 minutes.
now.
We're going to chat about some really cool stuff. And to get right into things, I want to welcome a very special guest from AMD to this stage. And he's going to share some very exciting news and updates about Radeon with me, or rather, with us. So, please, welcome to the stage Senior Vice President and General Manager of Radeon at AMD, responsible for all Radeon graphics, like the new RX 7000 series GPUs. Scott Herkelman!
Sound is perfect now. I can adjust a bit more.
Hi, Scott. Okay. So good that you're joining us. I hope you're doing well.
I guess it's
I
better
gotta
now.
ask, like, just straight off the bat, anything cool you've seen at Gamescom so far?
Anything cool I've seen at Gamescom? How about the League of Legends team that was right before us? And I have to ask you something. Do you think North America can beat that League of Legends team?
Ooh. Could Eintracht Spandau win the LCS, guys? That's what I thought, Scott.
Okay,
but
it's better now.
No
nice.
way.
I don't think you flew over 7,000 kilometers here just to chat about League of Legends with me, right? I've heard you have some exciting news for us.
Yeah, that's right, we do. You know, 2023 has been a massive year for new games, and developers continue to push the boundaries for PC experiences. And that's exactly why we built the RX 7000 series. That includes the 7900 series for gamers who play at 4K resolution, and also the 7600 series for the majority of gamers who
basically
play
the
at
guy
1080p resolution.
that talked about
more and more gamers are buying 1440p displays, and older GPUs struggle in these new games at this resolution. So I'm excited.
I guess you're hearing a lot of sound, like
2 new GPUs,
because there are things down not down there, but outside. There is someone working because they are painting the house. So
is the brand new Radeon RX 7800 XT 16 Gigabyte.
Well, I won't disable the chat, otherwise people can't actually see properly.
And we are also announcing what we call its little brother, the Radeon RX 7700 XT 12 gigabyte graphics card. Both come with DisplayPort 2.1 for brand new displays, AV1 for next-gen streaming, and of course, fast AI acceleration for the next generation of games.
Okay, give us something that we don't know. Well, if you don't hear the noise outside, that's great, actually great.
Da habt ihr es. Offiziell angekündigt, die neuen AMD-Karten, die Radeon RX 7800 XT.
Oh, there's a translator.
Mit 16 GB GDDR6. Eins von beiden dürft ihr euch aussuchen. Und natürlich auch die 7700 XT mit 12 GB. So, that's pretty awesome, Scott. And I was checking out our Benchfest earlier a little bit and got to play some games on the new cards. And I gotta say, compared to my 2060 at home, man, I'm due for an upgrade.
You're definitely due for an upgrade. Upgrading
2060,
your GPU
yeah,
is actually
it's
one
time
of
to
the
upgrade,
easiest
man.
thing you can do to make your system feel fast again. For example, you can see on the screen here, Versa RX 2070 Super, which is a 4-year-old GPU. The 7800 XT gets you over 60 frames per second, and it's 50% faster in The Last of Us, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and
I mean, they're comparing to the 2070 Super. The 2070 Super is on par with the 5700 XT. Of course, the 7700 XT has to be way faster than the 5700 XT. Duh.
The Last of Us Part 1 game gets over 90 frames per second at 1440p with settings maxed out, and these cards push triple-digit frames per second, and Horizon Zero Dawn close to 200 frames per second. And Liza P, a new game launching this September, also gets close to 200 frames per second.
This seems better.
I mean, that sounds like gamers that love to min-max FPS to the absolute extreme are right at home with their Radeon.
RTX 2070
that's right. And
Super.
let me just show you a broader view
insane.
of games. And so if you look at native performance across even more of the most popular games in the industry right now, the Radeon RX 7800 XT trades blows with the competition, which this card is $599 for our competition.
Now we see something.
And it has more VRAM and the latest display technologies. And on the Radeon RX 7700 XT, across the same popular titles, it delivers over 60 frames per second with max settings on your 1440p display, often besting the 4060 Ti 16 gig. And
which is nothing outstanding, but well, it's 20% over.
Starting at $449, and the Radeon RX 7800 XT starting at $499.
Wow.
Nice, not bad. 450. 450 for the 7700 XT, not bad. Still, well, 20% faster than the 4060 Ti and $449. Should be lower though. I would go for like the $400.
For those of you in the audience today that have been able to experience these new GPUs firsthand at the back of the auditorium, are some of your results now live on screen on the 7800 XT across 6 games. But don't just take our word for it. Check out Benchfest. It's right behind you, all of you in the audience right now. You can go ahead and play the latest games on the RX 7800 XT and experience the smoothness for yourself.
Ja, absolut.
It is not a bad price, but still.
Da könnt ihr alles mögliche an neuen Spielen ausprobieren.
It is not a bad price, but it is not good. The 7700 XT has quite a good price actually. The 7800 XT, like I said in the previous video that I made like 2 hours ago, it isn't that great. I wouldn't get the 7800 XT for myself. Most likely the 7700 XT, which seems like a way better option. Way better.
Wenn wir hier durchgehen. Wenn wir hier durch sind, dann, wenn ihr gut Frisbees fangen könnt, dann habt ihr vielleicht Glück, ein oder
I agree. 450 is still a bit
but
high.
First, Scott, we'll chat again a little bit later, but first, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
But still a better option than the 4060 Ti. That's definitely a better option. The 7700 XT will completely annihilate the 4060 Ti, and you have 12
the
gigabytes.
Cards already are pretty exciting,
way
but
better.
I do want to welcome another
But I use
special
6800
guest
XT is definitely a way to go.
And he's going to give us some updates on FSR and AMD software.
FSR,
so
here we go, to FSR
Chief
now.
Architect of Gaming Solutions and Marketing at AMD, Frank Azor.
Oh, it's Frank Azor. Or Frank Azor. Yeah, FSR3 now.
Hey, Liffy. Hey, Frank. So good that you can join us today. Ready to take those new cards on Overwatch 2 for us?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're amazing. You guys are going to love the performance of them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to love the performance.
You probably checked out some of the games new at Gamescom. Anything that kind of struck your fancy? Anything that you're looking forward to?
Who's looking forward to Starfield? Come on, right? Yeah.
Ooh. I just don't really like when they talk like, oh, you're going to love the performance of them, like we don't have better performance right now. I mean, just shut up and show the things.
I'm going to need like a 4-week vacation when it comes out in October.
I can feel that, definitely. But
we want to talk about some software, right? Because AMD announced RDNA 3.
Yeah, basically, if you have a 6000 series, let's say like the 6800 and above, you're usually fine.
I think a few updates on that would be very exciting.
Well, first of all, what you need to know about the AMD Adrenalin software is it comes with all your Radeon graphics cards, and it's the driver, it's the software, it's all in one location for you. You don't have to deal with different UIs or anything. It's all unified and simplified. It also lets you monitor the performance of your card. It even lets you overclock your card without having to use any third-party software.
They already showed the performance, Neo Aliens.
There's no account registration required for AMD Adrenalin.
Okay.
No name, no email, none of that crap, all right?
Okay, that's
cool, keep it that way for you. So we've been constantly adding more and more performance-enhancing features.
Yeah, bring FSR3 already.
Software. Recently,
the 6800 XT will be most likely faster in some games and slower in others than the 6950 XT. But I'll test it if I can.
In-driver upscaler,
the 7700 XT is fine for me in terms of pricing. It is okay because it is much better than the 1460 Ti in terms of raster, ray tracing in some games, and well, in other things, like for example the VRAM.
Complicated.
I know.
The VRAM.
How do we manage that?
As for the 7800 XT, I think it is way more expensive than it should be, because it isn't much faster than the 7700 XT.
What we've done is we announced a feature called HyperRX. All right, and HyperRX gets all these features: Radeon Super Resolution, Anti-Lag
HyperRX is being released, but HyperRX has more things.
And it turns them on for you in all the games that...
Let me just pause 1 second, because HyperRX has actually more things together, okay? It also has improved other features that improve HyperRX for certain games, okay? They use automatically FSR2, for example, instead of FSR1.
Kind of performance uplift that you're getting in Fortnite, almost a 50% performance improvement in Fortnite when you turn on HyperRX. And it's not just frames per second, your latency significantly reduces as well. Look at these latency differences when you turn on HyperRX.
I mean, if you raise the FPS, the latency also decreases. That's automatic. But yeah.
Weniger latency, mehr FPS, absolut klasse.
Yeah, Alex,
so you guys have been waiting for HyperRX since the RDNA 3 launch, since the 7900 XTX launch, right? I know it took us a little longer than we originally planned, but it's going to be worth it, and it's coming to you in just a few weeks. In early September, you're going to get the driver drop, and it's going to work on your Radeon cards.
Yeah, on your Radeon cards, the HyperRX.
That's awesome. But I do want to keep digging on some of the updates and news on software, so I'm just straight up going to ask, when is FSR3
Yo, guys.
You guys want an update on FSR3? Yeah. I think it's the most replied comments I've been getting on social media is, where the heck is FSR3? So we've got a great update for you today on FSR3. So first of all, what FSR3 is, in case you're not sure, is it's obviously the follow-on to FSR2, our upscaler and our performance enhancer that integrates into games. But FSR3 adds our fluid motion frames technology. And what that does is it literally generates frames for you in your game, which can double and in some cases triple your frame rate. And when you pair it with Anti-Lag Plus, it significantly reduces your latency as well. It's pretty incredible what the team has been able to accomplish with FSR3. So, a couple other things you should know. It's still going to be open. It's going to work on Radeon 7000 series cards, Radeon 6000 series cards, and even older cards. How's that?
Nice. It works on all cards as FSR2.
Your frame rate on any card that can run it, basically.
Great. Finally a good thing. Finally.
It's Fidelity Effect Super Resolution. And AMD cares about all gamers. So we enabled FSR3 not just to work on Radeon graphics cards, to work on any graphics card.
Even Intel's GPUs can use frame generation now.
And our engineers didn't stop there. It doesn't just work on any PC graphics card. It even works on consoles like the Microsoft Xbox.
Oh, this is a nice thing. Having FSR3 on Xbox
should get the benefit of frame generation
nice.
of fluid motion frames.
On consoles
it shouldn't
as
be
well.
reserved just for the small select few of people that can buy the latest generation graphics card.
Ooh,
that's
shots
not
fired.
right for gamers.
Shots fired to Nvidia. Finally, he says something good to hear.
So, when can we get our hands on FSR3?
Oh, I forgot to say that. Right. Who wants to know when you're going to get your hands on FSR3?
Oh, shut up.
So, first of all, let me show you FSR3 in action. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is FSR3 in Forspoken. This is their brand new DLC. Okay, and it's running here. You can see the kind of performance improvement that we're delivering with FSR3.
Yeah, I've played it.
Nearly triple the performance improvement when you turn this feature on.
Triple the performance. Well.
And any of you guys checked out Immortals of Avium? Just came out. We've got FSR3 integrated into Immortals of Avium as well. And you can expect both Forspoken and Immortals of Avium patches coming out early fall. Just a few more weeks ahead. You're going to see these patches come out, and you'll be able to take advantage of these massive frame rate games.
Some more weeks, okay. Could be worse. Could be worse.
You probably want it in more than just 2 games, right?
I've been looking at the new Cyberpunk expansion, Phantom Liberty, and
you want FSR3 in it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Space Marine
as well? FSR3 for you.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Nice.
So
let's see Cyberpunk.
We've already got a bunch of games coming out with committed support for FSR3. So just check the
a few more weeks.
Me.
If we're talking about 2 or 3 weeks, it isn't that bad actually.
FSR3 in it. And beyond these 12 games, we've got a bunch of game developers
Immortals
of
VM is actually
Unreal
nice.
Engine
it's just terribly
optimized. Put a plugin in Unreal Engine for FSR3, and once you do that, you're going to get an absolute ton of games that are going to be integrating FSR3.
Okay, they are working with these producers.
FSR3 support to grow very rapidly from here, just like FSR1 and FSR2 did.
Okay,
that sounds
at least that.
Fantastic.
At least that.
I think we're already through all the software stuff, right?
Yeah, FSR3 is available for the 6,000, 5,000, and even older cards.
For everybody, yeah. So, FSR3 is pretty cool, obviously, right? But so we're going to put it in 10, 15, 20, 50 games. You know, our competitor has their frame generation in like 50 games or so. Wouldn't you like fluid motion frames in thousands of games?
Oh, they'll put the fluid motion on Radeon software.
Now, every DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 game you play, we can double and triple your frame rate. Wouldn't you like that?
Now this is technology. What the hell? Now this I want to see.
Yeah, we would too. So we asked our engineers if they can figure out a magical way of doing that, because nobody's been able to do it. Every frame generation technology right now requires integration into the game, and that limits how many games you can launch out there with frame generation.
Now this will be cool in all games.
The engineers at AMD are pretty special.
With Radeon software.
And they figured out a way to put fluid motion frames into HyperRX. And that means pretty much any DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 game running the AMD Adrenalin HyperRX software is going to get the benefits of fluid motion frames, frame interpolation, and generation.
Awesome. What? Older graphic cards is the big win. Thanks for the donation, by the way. Damn. This is
huge. It's already working. We've got it working in our labs. It looks absolutely incredible. It's going to be launching to the public by Q1, so just a few more months ahead. By Q1, we'll be introducing that in the Adrenalin driver with HyperRX.
Okay, but
and stay tuned to AMD News to learn more about it. All right, guys, that's going to be unbelievable. There's no other solution out there like it. You're going to get massive frame rate improvements with fluid motion.
It is still some months away.
Fantastic.
But
awesome.
At least they told us that they will do this.
Some more things in mind that we can chat about, but I'd invite Scott back on the stage for that.
No. It won't use RSR. Has nothing to do with it. These are generated frames. RSR uses Fidelity FX. Super Resolution 1, which is spatial upscaling, which sucks.
And tech, amazing, but
it isn't.
We're talk about Starfield,
yeah, a few more months. It says
talk about the biggest
Q1
game of the year.
2024
How good
beginning.
are the cards on Starfield?
Well, what's been great is we've been working with our friends at Bethesda now for many, many months, optimizing Starfield, not only across AMD Radeon GPUs, but AMD Ryzen CPUs. And I can't tell you the scores yet, but what I would tell you is that these cards are able to run Starfield exceptionally smooth at 1440.
AMD actually surprised me here.
Copy of Starfield. That's right. So, for a limited time, if you buy a Radeon 6000 or 7000 series graphics card, you get a free copy of Starfield with it. So if you're thinking about buying a graphics card, do it now. All right, that's an expensive game, and you're going to get a free copy of Starfield with any 6000.
The first games with FSR3 will have like will be in like 2 weeks, I believe.
Hell yeah. Also, falls ihr euch eine neue Grafikkarte zulegen
and then we have for all other games in some months something that AMD is implementing.
Und natürlich auch der 7800 XT und für kurze Zeit auch bei ausgewählten 6000er Series Grafikkarten eine Gratiskopie von Starfield. Man, that's exciting.
That's a lot, right? That's a lot of good news.
That's insane, actually.
But I'll be honest with you. If everyone wants to play Starfield on these new cards, we kind of need to know when they're coming out, right?
Well, that's the great news. Cards will be available starting on September 6th, the same day Starfield launches, and I'm excited for you to get a hand, either when you're buying a PC pre-configured or from our AIB partners, September 6th.
Launches in the same day as
That's
Starfield.
Amazing. Hell yeah. Wunderbar. Um das Ganze noch mal kurz für euch zusammenzufassen, also ab dem 6. September könnt ihr die neuen Radeon RX 7700 XT und
Nvidia also decreased the latency a bit
holen. Und dazu gibt
because
es
you
eine
have
Kopie von
way more
Starfield.
FPS. The
Zusätzlich kommt das
input
natürlich
has
mit
more
alles
FPS,
Mögliche
has more
nach neuen
latency
Tech, wie zum Beispiel FSR3 mit Immortals of Aveum und
HyperRX will work with
ist das
APUs,
zuerst
yes.
verfügbar, aber dann auch mit jede Menge Games danach. I think already that's all we had to talk about.
No,
right?
no, no. The 7700
Frank,
XT is actually
thank you
good
so
for
much for joining me on
449.
the
The 7800 XT isn't.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
The 7700 XT will actually sell very well. The 7800 XT, I
vorhin schon
don't.
versprochen habe. Der Weihnachtsmann, ne?
Easily, because the 7700 XT will be just slightly slower than the 7800 XT. Easily.
Let's go.
Watch my most recent video, and you understand. Oh, this guy is so cringe.
Oh, schön, Dankeschön.
Wunderbar.
So
dann gehe ich wieder.
hyper
Ja,
hyped.
warte mal.
Was?
Halt, stopp. Hier fehlt doch noch wer, oder? Ich hatte doch die ganze Zeit eine ganz bezaubernde Co-Moderatorin. Wo ist denn die? Olimi. Olimi.
Nah, 7700 XT is actually good. It has 52 compute units, not the usual 40 compute units. It's faster than the 4060 Ti, while actually, well, delivering more VRAM as well.
Super Neuigkeiten. Um diesen Launch zu ehren, haben wir auch noch ganz viele Partner. Aber ich würde sagen, das war jetzt auch anstrengend genug, ne?
Ja, vielen Dank dir. Das war krass. Insane.
Können wir hier bitte nochmal einen riesen Applaus haben?
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good night.
Legende.
Mega.
FSR3 in the game inside comes in 2 weeks. FSR3 for all the games comes in, let's say, some months. Q1
Das ist ein Plural.
2024.
Tatsächlich.
Wie viele denn?
Ich meine auf jeden Fall mehr als 1, 2, 3, 4. Ja. Es ist eine Menge. Wow.
Okay. Also, wir haben jetzt tatsächlich 6 Grafikkarten, weil für diesen Launch stehen
The thing is that I don't really understand German. So, yeah.
uns 6 Grafikkarten zur Verfügung zu stellen. Wir hauen die... Ja, da kann man mal klatschen. Ja, habt ihr recht.
Well, fake frames aren't magic. They are still fake frames, and they will have some motion artifacts here and there, and so on, so on, so on. They have advantages and disadvantages. Okay, I will turn up the sound when something relevant comes. Now, yeah, I believe this is German. Yes. One thing that I really want to talk about is actually Difference between 7700 and 7800 is $50. So why would you go with a 7700 XT? Well, I mean, it's $50. I don't think it's $50. It's like $100 difference, right? No, it's because it has to do with the fact that it is Gamescom, and Gamescom is in Germany. So Gamescom is in Germany, so they speak German. That's how it goes. These cards won't sell 7800 XT to closing price to from the 4070. Well, it is closing price because it performs around the same. That's the thing, you know, because it performs around the same. Otherwise, it would cost less. I mean, it's not zero chance because, I mean, it will be very close in some scenarios, but definitely slower in most of them. Octoman's Games breathing new life to old GPUs, thanks AMD. Now, I don't think that these cards are really all that per se. I do think that one of the best things that AMD actually brought in here, definitely, is the fact that they have FSR3 coming in 2 weeks, finally. We don't know if it is good or not. I guess we'll have others, like, for example, how they're called. I'm trying to remember the name of the channel, but they do lots of reviews on that. They will most likely compare both versions of the LSS and so on, the LSS, FSR3. But the best thing actually is that they will indeed, and they're trying to, and they said they would at least in the Q1 2024, so some months from now, they will try to push fluid motion, so basically FSR3 for all the X11 and the X games, because it will work with HyperRX, which is insane. If they actually manage to pull that out, that's insane, and that will finally maybe turn things around a bit, because if Nvidia has like 30-50 games and AMD actually manages to push the fluid motion without the need, basically using their software without the need of any kind of integration per se, that will be huge, as you can just use, basically you can use the frame generation in all games, and that's huge, definitely. Is FSR3 coming with fluid motion at the same time? FSR3, yes, because FSR3 is basically the fluid motion. It will release firstly to Forspoken and Immortals of Avium, and then, well, it will go. Fabio, do you think Radeon Vega iGPUs can benefit from these new technologies? I don't really know, but well, if they integrate it in the Radeon software, maybe they will. Edgar the Face, thanks for the donation, by the way. FSR for everyone and HyperRX for 5000 plus series, I guess. Yes, HyperRX is for 5000 plus series, while like I told you before, while the FSR, they're trying to integrate FSR for all games, and on top of that, they have FSR working on all GPUs, so Intel GPUs, Nvidia GPUs, AMD GPUs, all GPUs will work with FSR, and at the same time, on top of that, you actually have older AMD GPUs as well working, so you don't need the best and the most recent GPUs to have the frame generation technology. Is fluid motion exclusive to AMD GPUs? No, I just answered that. It isn't. FSR3 will obsolete the LSS3 exclusivity. Well, the LSS3 will most likely have better quality for sure, but, and I repeat, but, if AMD pulls this out correctly, well, the LSS will have way less games than FSR in just a moment. Yes, RTX 3080 plus FSR3. The only thing is that for all games, only the AMD cards, I suppose that only the AMD cards will be able to use FSR3 for all games when they pull this out, because of course it will be integrated in the Radeon software. And I don't know if you remember, but some years ago they actually had the option to use fluid motion inside the Adrenaline software as well. It wasn't called Adrenaline, it was the Crimson software, I believe. And it was integrated in the software as well, and you could use indeed the fluid motion for videos and so on. So I believe they're trying to do the same thing now, but for games in their software, which is a good thing. If they pull this out, this will be amazing, actually, yeah. Do you have any more doubts, any more things that you actually want to know? Just let me know. Is Anti-Lag Plus already available? Yes, it will be available as soon as HyperRX and FSR3 are, basically 2 weeks. At least the drivers that I tested before already had the anti-lag or the anti-lag, and Radeon Boost Plus also working, both the Plus version. So it was working on those drivers, but it wasn't working for the 7000 series, only for the 5000 and 6000 series. 7800 XT versus 6950 XT. The 6950 XT will still be faster, no doubts. No doubts that the 6950 XT will be faster. On the other hand, it will consume like 120 FPS, 120 to 200 watts more maybe. That's the only advantage of the 7800 XT. The ARM with, I believe that's how it's pronounced, the ARM with Moriarty. 50 difference for 12 gigabytes instead of 16 gigabytes longevity. Yes, I guess that's the reason why maybe I didn't see it was, I thought it was $100, but I believe that they will indeed, put these prices because the 7800 XT will most likely sell the most, and the 7700 XT will be reduced in like 50 to 60 bucks after like 1 or 1.5 months. That's basically what they're trying to do, most likely. And that's most likely what's gonna happen. Did you notice any improvements using Anti-Lag Plus? Well, the Anti-Lag Plus decreased indeed the latency, but I'm not that trained to sense that small difference of latency in between this or that. Compatibility will win, exactly. Would you recommend the 7900 XT as a valid purchase now? The 7900 XT was always a valid purchase. It is faster than the 4070 Ti in some scenarios by a lot. In some ray tracing games it is faster than the 4070 Ti as well. Okay, it is faster than it in some ray tracing games and slower in others. It was always a valid purchase, okay, always. The 7600 is another story, but the 7900 XT was always a good purchase. Mostly at the price that it is. It costs the same as the 4070 Ti, in some scenarios even less than that. So now with FSR3 coming, and now with the new things, if AMD actually pulls this out of using FSR Fluid Motion on all GPUs, all AMD GPUs, the AMD GPUs will get a raise in value, let's say that. Yeah. FSR3 won't be usable on Nvidia or Intel. Too much latency without anti-lag plus. It will be usable, depends on what you want. If the amount of FPS that you have is low, then the latency will get higher. If the amount of FPS that you have is already high, the latency increase won't be much, I guess. But yeah, you have other options to decrease latency. Nvidia has NVIDIA Reflex, I believe. No, Reflex. It's something like that, so you can still use that NVIDIA feature while using FSR3. Why not? 7800 XT will be the new king. Well, I don't really know about that. If it was, let's say, 50 bucks, well, 50 bucks, both cards, if they were 50 bucks or let's say 100 bucks cheaper, then it would be a killer deal, definitely. But at these prices, you still have the 6000 series GPUs in stock, and they will outperform these new GPUs. Well, they will consume more power, of course, but they will outperform these GPUs. Which AMD GPU will compete against the NVIDIA 4070? Against the 4070, we have the 7800 XT, which is up to 20-something% faster, at least without any kind of tweaking, stock versus stock. I will do the tweaking later, definitely. So that will happen, and yeah, basically that's it. Versus the 4070, it will consume more power, of course. It will be more or less on the same level. And that's it. It has FSR3, or it will have FSR3. FSR3 is indeed available for all older cards, including Nvidia and Intel ones. So that's the biggest selling point of FSR3. Open source and ready to use in any card. NVIDIA Reflex is not on a lot of games. NVIDIA is equivalent to anti-lag. is low latency mode, but it reduces the performance mode. Well, I guess that Radeon anti-lag reduces a bit the performance as well, I don't really know. Nick B says, I would love to see performance difference on AMD cards on Windows versus Linux. I don't really know much about Linux, so I'm not the correct person to test that. 7800 XT, $500. I believe it was that, 500 or 550, something like that. The LSS 3.5 versus FSR3 will create competition that will be great for pricing. That's exactly what I said on my DLSS 3.5 video, because we need that competition. We definitely need that competition. That's a definitive scenario. Otherwise, the prices will just scale up. We need that, and I'm glad that AMD is actually releasing FSR2 finally. In 2 weeks. They had a tough time. Maybe they had a tough time because they were trying to use FSR3 on all GPUs. That was the case. I mean, for 7000 series only, maybe they had FSR working like after 2 or 3 months. But in order to work in all cards, they actually took way more time. I guess that was the thing, I believe. Now Nvidia should open the LSS 3 for older cards, at least 3090 and 3080. Well, I don't know if they will do that. They'll just say, well, use FSR3. 6700 XT 300, 7700 XT 450. Worth the price jump. Well, for the 7700 XT, I guess so, because the 7700 XT uses 52 computer units and uses RDNA 3, while the 7600, the 6700 XT uses 40 computer units, so it will be quite faster in some games. But I'll definitely test that as soon as I get the 7700 XT. So yeah. Optics or Rock'em? Well, sincerely, I don't really know. I am not much into that. Please bring the BAM back, Fabio, on the GVG Mall. Well, guys, by the way, talking about GVG Mall, let me just pass a bit well, this can be on. Let me just pass the pre-ad in order to help the channel even more, in order, for example, to buy the 7700 XT and 7800 XT, because I don't know if they'll send me a card. I hope so, but I don't know they will. So let's just hear the sponsor for a while. Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall, bringing you all the software deals you need, like Windows 10, Windows 11, Office 2021 with a new Windows 11 design, and even Windows Server 2022. For all of these, you can use my SKG discount code for 25% off, getting a Windows 10 serial key for only $16. Then use the key on your Windows settings, and you'll have an activated system. Well, guys, thank you for this moment. I don't really know if you want to make some more things, but once again, if you're new to the stream, if you are just seeing now and if you didn't see before, I am telling you right now that FSR3 is free to use in all GPUs. Once again, it is free for all GPUs, being AMD, Intel or Nvidia, and you can indeed use it on older GPUs like the 6000 series, 5000 series, and even GPUs like the RX 580, at least from what they said, because they said 6000, 5000 and even older GPUs, so at least the Vega GPUs will be included. I don't know about the 580, but at least the Vega GPUs will be. If you didn't watch the stream before, I will also tell you that FSR3, AMD is actually trying to implement, and they actually managed to implement to a certain extent, that's why they're telling this right now, but they managed to implement FSR3 and they're trying to bring it on the Q1 2024 to bring FSR3 fluid motion, basically frame generation for all games. Basically, let's say you have an AMD GPU, you just go to the game, or in this case, just go to the Radeon software, not to the game. Instead of going to the game, you go to the Radeon software, like you have RSR. You just go there and you activate the fluid motion for that, the X11 or the X12 game, and it will work independently of the game. So fluid motion for all the X11 and the X12 games, most likely in the future, also all Vulkan titles. This is the biggest thing that they released, or that they're gonna release, and that may actually kind of put the game more or less on par with Nvidia, also still lower performance, still more issues, more or less issues, but at least in terms of upscalers it will put it more or less on par, because although it might not be as good as the frame generation from Nvidia, it will be free to use in all scenarios, and that's already a big win. Now we have one donation here from Octoman's Games. By the way, thank you for the donation. And it says, aren't they shooting themselves in the foot a little bit for making older GPUs more viable? Lots of people won't upgrade if their old GPU can hang now. Well, a faster GPU will always be better, even when using the let me just put this here. It will always be better even when using the I mean, it's normal that it will be better even when using, even when using FSR3, it will always be better. Okay, let me just open the stream a bit once again and see what's going on. And it will be better because it is a faster GPU, so you'll have more things like AV1 and so on. So it won't be much of a downfall for AMD, I guess. It won't be an issue. I'm pretty sure it won't. I mean, people may actually do the opposite. People may actually think, okay, AMD is supporting the older GPU, so when I'm gonna buy a new GPU, I'll actually buy an AMD GPU because I want to support them as well. I guess that's what AMD is actually thinking about. They actually want to make people think like this. So if AMD is supporting my old GPU, I want to support AMD in my next GPU buy. Maybe that's the way of thinking, I guess. Is HyperRX confirmed to be coming with FSR 2.0 driver support? Yes, HyperRX is in the drivers, okay? You can activate HyperRX in the drivers, but then you have a better feature that it is basically HyperRX inside the game that brings even more benefits, at least from what I've heard, so yeah. Yes, the FPS improvements will be huge, but I'm telling you, I already tested the frame generation from Nvidia quite some times, and I can tell you that frame gen is good in some scenarios, but it is not that great in others. For example, I tested Hogwarts Legacy, which is a third-person game. Frame generation was fine, okay? Frame generation was actually pretty good. Oh, the quality is messed up. Supporter for 6 months, by the way. Thank you, Nick B. Finally watched the live stream. Have a good day, all. Thank you very much, Nick B. Basically, what I wanted to say. Oh, and it is breaking again. What the hell is wrong? Say 720p. Anyway. Basically, what I wanted to say is that yeah, the LSS is good for third-person, usually for third-person games, usually. And in first-person games, it actually usually causes me kind of motion sickness due to the huge amount of motion blur that it has, due once again to the motion artifacts and so on. Well, something is wrong here. Anyway, I'll just stop it. But yeah, basically that's it. So frame generation is good for some things and not for others. If playing first-person games, I wouldn't go for it, because even in Cyberpunk 2077, I got kind of a feeling of motion sickness, and it wasn't that great, actually. It wasn't that great. I ended up disabling the frame generation, and it felt like different. It felt like, I don't really know how to explain it, just didn't feel that snappy and so on, because, once again, input latency and so on. Unknown, hi Fabio, hello, hello. I saw the Ratman, the Ratman, lagging because of German internet. Frame generation from DLSS3 and FSR3 are actually motion interpolation frames from your TV. Fake frames had latency despite it increase in FPS. Yes, it is not like the interpolation frames on your TV. It's close to, but it is not the same, okay? Especially because the frames are trained in a way different way than the TVs use, okay? Much more trained, the image comes out much better. That's basically the difference, and they use more frames to reconstruct one, unlike the LGTVs, for example, with True Motion and so on. I have one of those because I know actually what I'm talking about. The True Motion is much worse than frame generation on the LSS, for example. Did I already talk about FSR3? Well, once again, yes. FSR3 is gonna get released in 2 weeks, I believe, for 2 games, firstly, which are Forspoken and Immortals of Avium. Also, HyperRX and those cards will also be released with Starfield, I believe, the 7700 XT and 7800 XT, and AMD is actually trying to use FSR for all games in Q1 2024, basically implementing frame generation inside the Radeon software. Opinion on RT reconstruction. Any answer from AMD? Well, they didn't say anything about RT reconstruction. They didn't care at all. But I do talk about that in my previous video, so if you want to see, you're free to see it. But yeah, basically that's it. I guess I have to do another video now talking about the FSR3 being being available for all GPUs, or at least AMD is trying to make it available for all GPUs, which is a nice thing. But yeah. Well, I guess that's it. I guess there's not really much more to talk about, I guess. I don't know if you guys want to ask something else or not. Just let me know. AMD Jesus currently blessing us latest knowledge. Have a 6700 10 gigabytes. Any reason to upgrade to a 6700 XT, 6800? Yes, of course, because the 6700 non-XT is much slower, for example, but much slower than the 6800 non-XT. Much slower. The 6800 non-XT is much faster. As you can see in my videos, if you go to my video section, you have the answer you are actually asking for right now. Do you have any info on the 7700 7800 XT review situation? No, I have nothing. AMD didn't tell me anything about it. They will most likely not send any cards. I will try and talk to ASRock to see if they can send me one, because they are very kind. By the way, I'm using the 6750 XT, sorry, 6750 XT, and I was actually testing, and I'm also streaming with this card, and I must tell you that this card is ice cold. It is ice cold. I was gaming with this card, recording at the same time. It was 30 degrees inside this room, 30 degrees with no spinning hair, so stop there, 30 degrees, and this card was like playing the game at max settings. This cooler is amazing, pushing, let's say, 60 degrees at 30 degrees ambient, and playing a game pushing 170 watts. This is insane. This cooler from ASRock is insane. Thanks ASRock for sending the card, by the way, if some of you are watching this, and this card is insane. I will also be releasing the 40 games on the 6750 XT soon, and we'll release also the overclock tutorial that you guys have asked for a lot of time. Ancient Gameplays, Fabio, how much faith do you have in FSR3? Well, AMD did have the fluid motion technology some years ago, and I guess, I guess they will at least do better than TVs, and that's also, that's already a win-win situation, because it's free, okay? It's open source, it's free, you can use it in all cards. What do you want more? And of course it will improve with time, I believe. And FSR3 is also coming to Xbox, so they can use FSR3 on Xbox, and there on the consoles there will be a major uplift. That's insane. Yeah, 6600 will support as well. Even older cards will support FSR3. Well, it's a year late, but they compensate by the fact that it's open source. On Nvidia you can only use the frame generation with the 4000 series, while on AMD you'll be able to use FSR3 with all cards. That's a very compensative, that's not a word, but that's a very way to compensate the waiting, a very nice way. Just changed to the red team and could not be happier. I found your channel, Fabio, and you changed my mind. Felicidades por el genial contenido y gracias desde México, Fabio. Thank you. Do you think FSR3 will be usable at 1080p resolution, or is it better off for higher resolutions? No. FSR is not good at 1080p, not even DLSS is good at 1080p. It is much better than FSR, but not even DLSS is good, and it uses AI to train the resolution. I mean, 1080p nowadays, I don't believe it is okay to use FSR or DLSS. I mean, it's not worth it. Just decrease the graphics a bit. It will still look much better. GK Squid donated $2 US. Thank you, by the way. Hopefully FSR3 will improve RT performance. Well, it will improve RT performance because it is generating fake frames. So yeah, it will automatically improve the performance. Will most likely, well, increase the lag a bit more because that's what frame generation does. And will most likely have one or two movement artifacts here and there like the LSS does. But well, it's a trade-off. For example, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and for example, Spider-Man Remastered is the same. With frame generation, they have kind of, it seems like tearing, screen tearing, but it isn't screen tearing. It's the movement artifacts from the LSS frame generation that look like screen tearing in the bottom of the monitor. So people need to look into those things to actually know what's happening, and that's due to frame generation. I believe that FSR3 will have the same issues here and there. That's normal. Brandon TGS, thanks for the £2. Fabio, I love your content. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much for actually watching the channel. Really, thank you very much. I mean, all I can do is thank you all because you guys support the channel. Sometimes it's rough. I have to work a lot, really, and sometimes I don't get the views that I wanted to. Sometimes I know that I have good content, but the video just doesn't pull people in. I believe it's because I'm not a native speaker, because if I was a native speaker, the videos would be much better overall. But I'm improving every day, and I'm trying to improve every single video that I made. Sorry, in order for my videos to reach you guys with a warmer touch, let's say that. That's what I'm looking for when making videos. Will FSR3 work on APUs as well? Well, that's a nice question. If it works on consoles, maybe it can work on APUs, at least the ones that are coming out. Hello Fabio, can you compare the 6750 XT with the RTX 3070? I will. I already have the 6700 XT versus the 6800 XT versus the 3070. If you go to my videos channel, it is there. But if you want to see the 6750 XT, there will be more tests because I want to compare the 6750 XT, the 6750 XT with the 7700 XT as well, and the other cards. I will test it definitely. By the way, ASRock has an amazing cooling solution for this card. The Phantom D Gaming is excellent. Yeah, my English is great, but I'm still faulty in some scenarios. For example, when I want to, let's say, when I want to express myself in different ways or talk with more fluidity, my English lacks there. It's not something that I can gain from day to night or night to day. Well, it takes years, I guess. Much respect, Fabio. There's the PR. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Fabio, I think your accent is actually really nice. Native speakers aren't as easy to listen to, in my opinion. I say this as a British person. Well, thank you very much. I mean, maybe native English speakers, but there is no reason to think it's because of that. Well, it is a bit because of that. I don't think that my content is top tier. I think my content can always improve, and I always look to further improve the quality of my content. I can do that, and I'm constantly doing that. But it is also because of the native speaking, because sometimes I'm trying to say things in English that I want to say in Portuguese, at least with the way that I say in Portuguese, and I just can't do it because English is not my main language. And if I'm kind of tired, it becomes even worse, because my brain is just processing the translation and it's very hard. What graphics card do you personally run and CPU? My main system, which is the ones that I run usually all day, is the 7700X and the 7900X TX, and which is the one that I game on. Silent83, I'm not here for your English, I don't care how you speak, your content is very important and you put so much work and that is very appreciated. That is important, not the damn English. Everything is important, but what also is important is comments like yours that are really important to me and that really kind of warm my heart. Sorry. Thank you very much. And well, guys, that's all for this video. I guess it isn't worth to keep the live stream alive. I'll just take a moment. I'll take a bath. Go to shopping with my mother. She needs to buy things for the house and so on. So I guess I'll do that. And yeah, basically that's it. She doesn't have a car nor a license to drive. So yeah. Heavy Duty Roadside LLC, thank you for all you do. As of late, you are my favorite creator and I really enjoy seeing your dedication to AMD. Thank you very much. I have dedication to technology, not to AMD. It just happens that I do like AMD. I'm not a fanboy, but I do like AMD. It's kind of the underdog feeling. Well, I do like AMD, and I actually tend to like their technologies or the way they work better than Nvidia, and that's why I use AMD on my main computer with the 7900 XTX. I bought it myself. Nobody sent it to me, and I have there the 4070 Ti and so on and so other cards that I bought myself with my own money, and they're just standing there for the videos. I don't really use them daily. So yeah. Is there a way to lower overall power draw? Yes, it's called undervolting. You can do that, or power limiting. Bye AMD Jesus, thanks so much. Thanks Marcos. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the stream, buddy. Same here. Underdogs rise up. Exactly. We need competition. That's what we need all the time. Guys, last questions. If you have more questions, go on. Melker Chankla. I like the AMD until all of their sponsored games stopped supporting and even removed the DLSS support. Yes, but that's a faulty technique and they shouldn't do that. Definitely, I agree 1000%. But how many times did Nvidia do that? With physics, with the DLSS, with frame generation. How many times they did that? Because I can remember lots of times when physics began, they just ran physics with NVIDIA GPUs. AMD GPUs wouldn't run physics, and not because they couldn't, just because the game was locked. Okay? NVIDIA did that. There are still games today that only support the DLSS, and FSR is super easy to implement. Let's say, for example, Plague Tale Requiem. There are some more games, for example, even Modern Warfare 2 took ages to implement FSR when it was super easy to implement. So, you know what I mean? People usually tend to focus more on the AMD side while NVIDIA is doing this for years, which is annoying as hell. Actually, Jesus didn't have long hair. It's an incorrect image of him based on an unpopular son of Emperor. So yes, from what we can see, he might or might not have been using long hair. We don't really know because there was no person alive, still no person alive that was alive in that era as well. Love you, bro. Thank you very much. Last questions, guys. Last questions. So, do you think that FSR3 will perform the same on RX 6000 series as for the 7000 series? It doesn't depend on the series. It depends on the performance of the card. If you're running a top tier 6000 series, it will run better than, for example, a mid-tier 7000 series. If you're running a mid-tier 6000 series, it will run better than on a low-tier 7000 series. Okay, that's how it works. It depends on the performance of the card, on the base performance of the card. The higher the base performance of the card, the better the frame generation works. And that's why, for example, the 4060 works like shit with frame generation. That's why. Elder Christian, he speaks in Portuguese. He says basically that AMD needs to urgently not amplify, how should we say in English? That's what I'm talking about. So basically increase the amount of devs that they have in their team in order to improve their software in general. They did, but like we see with FSR, they were being very, how should we say, they had a big objective, and that's why they took much more time than they should. I guess that was the reason. I have just one simple question. VR. Well, VR was much better. VR is much better now, definitely, in the past few drivers, but it is still broken for the 7000 series for some cases, not in all cases now, okay? So in some cases it works way better now, but in some softwares, let's say in some games and in some VR headsets, it still performs poorly, sadly. Is Anti-Lag Plus only for RDNA 3 GPUs? No, it will work on RDNA 2 GPUs as well. At least that. I know that for sure. Yes, they're reaching out for all gamers, and that's where they win. That's just where they win. Otherwise, nothing. By the way, guys, okay, I'll just end well, like I told you, I'll just end the live stream. Thank you very much. If you want to donate, you can donate on PayPal as well. You don't need to donate here on the stream. If you want to help the channel grow, maybe help me get a 7700 XT, 7800 XT, well, you can do that via PayPal. Thank you, or PayPal. PayPal, not Paul. Paul is the name of the person. It's PayPal. So thank you very much. See you in the next stream, guys, and any more doubts that you have, go to the comment section of this video, or just go to the comment section of the previous video that I made about FSR3, okay? That's all. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video, guys. Cheers. And now I have to stop the stream. I always end up the stream. I always start the stream